Hey folks, how you doing? I'm in my van. When I was having lunch today, I had the laptop open and I had a wee look at the weather forecast. It's absolutely miserable for the east, but there is a break in this terrible weather and it's coming in probably around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and it should last most of the day tomorrow. It's forecast to be a fine day tomorrow on the west, that is. The east is going to hang on to the bad weather. So when I saw the weather forecast, I decided, just on a whim really, to jump in the van and drive up the road. So I set off around about 3 o'clock, something like that, and I got here about an hour after dark. Had a bite to eat, and then I'm sitting in. I'm still fully clothed, but I'm in my sleeping bag. It's quite cold. I don't know if you can hear that outside, but it's blowing a hoolie out there. It's quite wild. But I think it's going to pass, and I think I'm going to get a decent day tomorrow. So, although I haven't prepped the van, and I'm looking over your shoulder at the food situation, which is not looking brilliant, I have to say. There's a few bits and pieces there. But I do have all my fishing gear, and it more or less lives in the van. So, I think we're going to have a day on the fishing tomorrow. Now, I didn't charge these cameras after my last trip, which was that day hike to Beneach above Glen Ample, so I don't have much battery power. So I'm going to stop blethering. I'm going to read my book for a wee while, and I'll turn the camera off and save the power. I'm also going to have a wee search around and see if I can find a power bank in here so that I can maybe charge up at least one GoPro. But I think I've got enough power for a tiny wee bit of filming tomorrow. So I'm going to hike down the loch a wee bit till I get opposite the north end of the island of Lismore. That gives you a clue as to where I am. And I know a fishing mark there. It's not a long walk, it's easy enough. I'll just leave the van here actually. I'll get up in the morning, gather some gear together, I'll hike down, take me less than an hour, and we'll have a few hours on the fishing. High tide is at about 1 o'clock tomorrow. When I was looking at the weather forecast, I also had a wee look at the tide times as well. So we'll fish up until high tide, and then maybe a wee bit after that, and then I'll have to hit the road and get back home. So it's very much a flying visit. Anyhow, I'm going to stop blethering, I'm going to read my book, I'm going to switch the camera off to preserve power, and we'll get back to you in the morning. So good night for now, folks. See you in the morning. Morning, folks. Can you see me all right there? We'll put this light on. Hey, we'll pop it up there. Oh, it's quite cold. Got my coffee on the go. I've got some porridge made. I've got some fruit here as well. So did a wee inventory of the van last night, and I found some bits and pieces. So it's certainly enough to keep me going. And I've got one or two bits and pieces. I've got some fruit, and I threw some cheese in when I dived in the van after lunch yesterday. So we've got enough sustenance. I'll dig around and get some fishing gear out, and then we'll get down this track. So let me get my coffee. Oh, Oh, that's good. Let me get my coffee and my porridge, and I'll get back to you in a wee while. I'm enjoying this morning walk down the track, get me warmed up a bit. Still got a mile or so to go, so we'll keep hiking on. Walking through a door into a different climate altogether, coming through the wee arch in the hillside there into glorious sunshine. This is the weather that was forecast for today, so I don't mind if I don't catch a fish. Just glorious to be out and about, folks. Let's go, we'll get down to this fishing mark. A bonny oak tree. I need to stop here and take a layer or two off. Too warm. The day's warming up fine. I was well layered up. It's quite cold this morning. Fair bit of frost on the van when I woke up. That's better. Rucksack's a wee bit heavier now though. Can move a bit more freely with all these layers on. It's a bonny spot. This is a favourite camping spot actually. I've got a camping spot that's right on the coast, but I usually kayak in. Actually the sea's looking pretty calm now. It was quite wild this morning when I woke up. But that's not really what put me off. It was lack of time. I don't really have time to put the boat on the water and everything today. I just want to get out and then just enjoy a few hours of fishing, and I'm really enjoying this morning walk. Glorious, glorious weather, beautiful countryside. And a wee break from that torrential rain that's battering the east coast just now. Anyway folks, enough blethering. Got to get on, get down this track a bit further. Well folks, this is my fishing spot. This is the spot that I quite often camp at as well. I've got a spot here and another place a wee bit further around. I'm a wee bit early, the tide's still quite low, but it's coming in. It's, let me see, it's just a little bit after 10 o'clock in the morning. So there's about 3 hours before the full tide, before high tide. But I'm going to set up here and I'm going to try a cast or two. The reason I didn't kayak round is firstly because I don't have a lot of time today, but secondly, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can see that there's I can see that there's a tidal race runs between me and that wee skerry that's just over there. Now beyond that skerry is a deep pool, which is good for fishing, especially for the coalies and the pollock. But the narrows there between the mainland and the wee skerry can be quite treacherous. It's got a very strong toe on the water there. Over there, there's a big bay, and I had a wee look at the bay on the way up the track, and it's very sheltered. It's flat cammon there, but it's fairly shallow. It's not ideal for the fishing, so I'm happy to fish from shore. It's a wee bit windy around here. Looking at the microphone, waving in the wind again. Anyhow, I'll get set up and then I'll pop the camera back on. I maybe should tell you where we are. That might be useful for you. So that's Loch Linnhe there, that's the island of Lismore behind, and then behind that we've got the hills of Morven and Kingairloch, and then Ardgour and Corran Ferry is away up that way, and Oban is away down that way. So I'm not that far from home, not particularly remote, but certainly enjoying a very bonny spot today. Okay, let me get this gear off, we'll get set up, we'll try a cast or two into that tidal race, see if there's any brave fish about in the fast moving water. Some lighter line on. I just want to cast a little bit further out. Might regret it though if I land a decent sized pollock. Shall we give it a cast or two before I set up the other rod? See if there's anything doing out there. Well, I've tried a few casts and nothing doing at all. I met a chap this morning when I was setting out down at the beginning of the track there. A local lad that fishes this spot, and he says it's very seasonal. He says I'm probably going to be wasting my time today. It's a fine way to waste your time. I'm not complaining. Still a couple of hours away from high tide. So what I might do is actually I might pack up my gear and just stash it in the undergrowth someplace and go for a wee hike, go for a wee walk. If I do that, I'll take the camera with me, although I'm nearly out of power. The camera's almost dead. That'll be a grand excuse if I don't catch a fish. I'll just, I'm sorry, there was no power in the camera. I wouldn't do that to you. I think my chance of catching a fish is at high tide. So I am probably just wasting my time now. So I'm going to do a few more casts. And then I think I'm going to go for a wee walk. It's also quite cold standing here. I know it looks like a gorgeous day. It's quite a cold wind. I'm filming GoPro just now. I've got the muffler on. As always, I'm interested to see what the sound quality is going to be like. So we'll give it one more. Given up on the fishing for a wee while. I've moved around the coast a wee bit, although my fishing gear is just in behind me there, but I've been scouting backwards and forwards. I found a wee place across here, a wee bit calmer. Do you want to go round and have a look? Is it worth grabbing a rod, do you think? Take a rod round? Let's do that. I'll go and get a rod. We'll hike round the coast and we'll have a go at that wee point over there where the water seems to be a bit more settled. Okay, let's go see what we can find. This point will obviously get covered. Certainly this part will get covered at high tide, but I've still got, it's an hour to high tide. I can see the water creeping up just behind the camera there, so I'm going to scoot out. I know that little bit of water because I've paddled it a few times. So I'm going to go and try a couple of casts. It's quite shallow, so I'm fishing quite lightweight line and a lightweight lure. Let's see how we get on. We'll give it a couple of casts. We're not giving up on that fish yet. So, can you see me? I'm in shot. I'm going to fish fairly shallow water here. Come up a bit. I'm going to fish fairly shallow water here. I'll give it a couple of casts. I don't have much time before I'm cut off by the tide. Well, I tried a wee bit of fishing on the point out there, but actually I thought I had one bite. I'm not totally convinced, but I'm reasonably sure that I got a bite, which is a good sign. But it's me that's needing a bite just now. I'm absolutely starving. So I'm going to put my hat on, which makes it a little bit difficult for you to see me in the camera, but it is quite cold. I'm just going to hunker down here. Have something to eat. It was slim pickings when I did the inventory in the van. I found some peaches. I threw the cheese in, just grabbed that out the fridge as I was leaving. And I've got a couple of date bars, a banana, and a packet of potato crisps. I've got water. Don't even have a cup of coffee today. That there, maybe keep the wind off me a wee bit. So let's see, what can we do with this? I have a banana sandwich but without the bread. I also have a cheese sandwich without the bread. I think we'll just browse. A wee nibble, keep me going. I'm only going to be here for another maybe an hour, a couple of hours. I'll have to get down the road. And actually, the road just north of Callander at Kilmahog is closed for overnight resurfacing work, so I have to get down before they put the barriers across. Otherwise, it'll be another night in the van. That's a fine excuse actually, isn't it? The only thing is, I've said that on camera now. No, I need to get home. I've got things to do. I'm going off to China very shortly, so this is a wee bonus. I think I'll upload this on Sunday. So it's midweek now. I'll upload this on Sunday, and by the time you're viewing it, I'll be on my travels. So it'll be a couple of weeks before I get out again and get another video on the go. So this is a wee bonus. And I haven't completely ruled out catching a fish, although I have to say it's looking unlikely. The skill level is not brilliant, and it seems, according to local knowledge, that it's a bit of a bust fishing this spot at this time of the year. Never say never. Alright, I'm going to nibble on these bits and pieces, and I'll get back to you in a wee while. Cheers, folks. I was getting one or two bites there, but I was keeping quiet because my luck has not been very good today, but I've achieved the objective. I think I can go home now. I set out to catch a fish, and we'll say it quietly, but we proved the local wrong. There is fish there. Anyway, it's a wee mackerel. It's not a big fish, but I'm going to pop it back. It seems to be completely unhurt, so seems like my luck has changed, folks. I caught that fish on GoPro, and when I went round to switch the GoPro off, it was down to 3%, so on battery life. So I only just caught it, so I'm pretty sure it's been captured on film. I put the other camera on. It's almost done as well, just about out of power. I'm going to try 2 or 3 more casts, and I'm just going to let that camera chunter away until it's out of power, so we may or may not catch another one. But now that I've achieved my objective, I'm going to a couple more casts, a wee bit fun with a rod, and then I'm going to pack up and head back to the van, get down the road in good time. I want to try and enjoy a little bit of the drive down the road. It's been a wee bit of a road trip as well, so I want to do at least part of the journey in daylight. So we'll give it another cast or two just now. Oh, I was on a fish, but I've lost it. Try another cast in the same place. Oh yeah, I think so. See if I can keep it on. Oh, it's in the rocks. I'm snagged. Come on. The way it's going down, I'm wondering if it's a pollock or a coley. Can't see it. Had a lot of line out there. It's a mackerel. There we are, we'll pop it back. Shall we try for one more? Trolling down the side of the coastline. I'll try out in deeper water for one or two casts. We're on a fish. We'll make this the last one. That's it, if we land it, that is. Oh, it's down. Come on. Keep it up. It's out the water, it's jumping. Keep it in the water now. Got off right at the last minute there. On the fish again. I hope my camera's working. The camera's been going on and off. I think it's pretty low in power. Let's see if I can land this one for you, and then we'll get away home. Just want to see if my camera's working before I throw this one back. Yeah, I caught another one, but my camera's been playing up a wee bit. I think it's low on power. That's a wee collie that I've got. So we'll pop him back. Well, we'll try one more cast. That's the problem when you get into the fish. You don't want to go. But I do want to enjoy the drive down the road in daylight. That was a bite, but I missed it. That's it. Let's come back for a second bite. Oh, it's off. Is it? Oh no, it's on. I think. I'm not sure. What's going on here? I think it's off. Yeah, it's off. Well, that's bad fishing. I've got two bites, one right after the other, and I lost both of them. I'm trying to bring this in fast because the reason I'm losing them is they're getting into the kelp. They're getting into the weed and managing to get themselves off. So if we get this one landed, this will be the last one. We'll get down the road. There we go. Speed fishing. There we are. Have a wee look. That's a bonny fish. Anyway, unharmed, we'll pop it back in the water. Just going to check if that camera is still running. Yep, we're all good. So I'm going to wind the video up here because I've fished longer than I anticipated. I've got to get back, I've got to hike back to the van, and I've got to get down the road before that road closure, which is just a wee bit north of Callander. So I've got quite a lot to do. So sorry for the rushed ending, but we got our fish. I'm glad that we did that together. Thanks for viewing, folks, that's very much appreciated. I'm heading off on my travels again the weekend, so I'm going to upload this just before I go, and it's a relatively short trip, so it won't be that long before I'm back in Scotland and we'll be back in the outdoors. I've got a few winter trips in my head. I've got some plans that I've been scheming and hatching, so we've got some stuff to look forward to together. So I'll get back to you on the next one, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.